If you are over 60 and you have been noticing unusual swelling in your ankles by evening, or waking up 2-3 times a night to use the bathroom, or struggling with a mental fog that just will not lift, stop and listen closely, because those symptoms are not random. They are not just aging. They are your kidneys trying to tell you something. Chronic kidney disease affects an estimated 37 million adults in the United States, roughly 1 in every 7. And according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 9 out of 10 people living with it have absolutely no idea. No idea. Until a lab report changes everything, the damage builds silently. Rising creatinine, declining filtration rates, and the terrifying realization that something has been going wrong for months, possibly years, while life went on as normal. Here's what most doctors do not take the time to explain. Chronic kidney disease is not only about what is going wrong, it is also about what your body has been starved of. Certain natural compounds that fight the 2 primary forces destroying kidney tissue every single day: oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. In the next 15 minutes, I am going to walk you through 6 of the most well-researched kidney-supporting spices you can find in any grocery store, explain exactly how each one works at the cellular level, and reveal the one overlooked daily habit that determines whether any of this actually helps or not. Most people focus entirely on the spices and completely miss that one habit. Do not be one of them. Before we go further, drop a comment right now with just your age, because the risk profile for kidney disease shifts significantly depending on whether you are 62, 72, or 82. And what I am about to share applies differently depending on where you are in that range. And if you have ever noticed that your ankles look puffier than usual by late afternoon, add the word swelling to your comment. That is a specific signal that tells me something important about what your kidneys may be dealing with right now. Here is a scenario that plays out in medical offices across this country. Every single week, a 69-year-old comes in for a routine annual checkup, feels fine, no major complaints. The lab results come back, and one number is slightly off. Creatinine is a bit elevated. The doctor notes it in the file and says, "We'll keep an eye on that. Come back in 6 months." No conversation about what creatinine actually means. No discussion of lifestyle or nutrition. Just keep an eye on it. 6 months pass, the number has climbed further. Now there's talk of a specialist referral, and the patient sits there wondering, how did we get here? What was actually happening inside my kidneys all this time? This is not one patient story. This is how early stage kidney disease is handled for millions of people, and the silence between appointments is exactly where the real damage accumulates. The research is clear. Oxidative stress and chronic low-grade inflammation are 2 of the primary mechanisms driving kidney tissue breakdown. What is far less communicated is that certain common dietary compounds have demonstrated meaningful effects on exactly these 2 pathways. That gap between what the published evidence shows and what gets discussed in a 15-minute appointment is costing people their kidney function, often years before it needs to be lost. Now, if you are someone who wants to understand the why behind the numbers, what I am about to explain will give you a completely different framework for thinking about kidney health as you age. Your kidneys at 65 are not simply older versions of your kidneys at 35. 3 specific changes make them fundamentally more vulnerable to damage. First, nephron loss. Each kidney contains roughly 1 million tiny filtering units called nephrons. After age 40, you lose approximately 1% of them per year. By the time you are 70, you may be operating with 30% fewer functional nephrons than you had at 40. The remaining ones compensate by working harder, which increases their exposure to oxidative damage. Think of a factory where 30% of the machines have been shut down. The remaining machines run at higher capacity, generating more heat and more vulnerability to breakdown. Second, microvascular deterioration. The kidneys are supplied by a dense network of tiny blood vessels. With age, these vessels stiffen and deliver less oxygen and fewer nutrients to kidney tissue. Reduced circulation is not just a side effect of aging. It is a direct driver of the oxidative stress that damages nephrons over time. Third, reduced antioxidant capacity. Your body's internal antioxidant systems, the enzymes that neutralize free radicals before they damage kidney cells, become measurably less efficient with age. The result is that oxidative stress accumulates faster and does more damage than it did in younger years. These are not small differences. They are fundamental changes that demand a completely different approach, and yet most dietary guidance for kidney health was developed without adequately accounting for all 3. Number 6, garlic. Your kidneys can only filter blood effectively when blood arrives at the right pressure and flow rate. Without With age-related arterial stiffening or chronic inflammation, the vessels supplying your kidneys begin to constrict. Blood flow drops, filtration becomes less efficient, kidney tissue starts operating under chronic low-grade oxygen deprivation. Garlic contains sulfur-based compounds, most notably allicin, that support vasodilation through their effect on nitric oxide production in vessel walls. A study published in the American Journal of Hypertension found that garlic powder supplementation produced meaningful reductions in systolic blood pressure in hypertensive subjects. Healthy blood pressure is directly tied to how well your kidneys can filter without being damaged by excess pressure. Research indexed on PubMed, including studies in the Journal of Phytomedicine, showed that garlic administration in models with induced kidney damage significantly reduced markers of oxidative stress and improved kidney function parameters, including creatinine clearance. How to use it correctly: crush or finely chop 1 to 2 cloves and let them rest for at least 5 to 10 minutes before cooking or consuming. This rest period allows the enzyme alliinase to convert alliin into active allicin. Cooking garlic immediately after cutting destroys most of this conversion. Pair with a small amount of olive oil to enhance absorption. Morning, on an empty stomach, or in a cooked meal is optimal timing. Number 5, cumin. Cumin may not be the first spice most people associate with kidney health, but it does something specific and valuable. It supports both your liver and your kidneys simultaneously. When digestion becomes sluggish and the liver's detoxification capacity is strained, the burden on the kidneys increases. Think of your liver as a pre-filter that removes the largest debris before it reaches your kidneys. When that pre-filter is supported, the main system runs cleaner. Cumin's active compounds, particularly cuminaldehyde and thymol, have demonstrated antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects in published research, indexed in NIH databases. Studies from institutions including King Saud University in Saudi Arabia have documented cumin's support of liver detoxification pathways, which reduces the total metabolic waste load reaching the kidneys. How to use it correctly? Freshly ground cumin seeds deliver significantly higher concentrations of active compounds than pre-ground powder sitting in a jar. Steep half a teaspoon of whole cumin seeds in hot water for 5 to 10 minutes as a simple tea, or grind fresh seeds onto salads, soups, or roasted vegetables. Morning to early afternoon is optimal. Adding a small amount of olive oil and fresh lemon juice improves absorption. Number 4, cinnamon. Here's a kidney connection most people never hear. Elevated blood glucose is one of the 2 leading causes of kidney disease in the United States. The mechanism is glycation, sugar molecules binding to proteins in kidney tissue, forming advanced glycation end products that progressively stiffen and damage the delicate filtering structures inside the nephrons. Cinnamon's primary active compounds, cinnamaldehyd and a range of polyphenols, have been studied for their effects on blood glucose regulation and antioxidant protection. Research indexed in NIH journals and published by institutions including King Saud University found that cinnamon supplementation can improve insulin sensitivity and reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes, directly reducing the glycation burden on kidney tissue over time. Cinnamon's polyphenols also act as direct antioxidants in kidney tissue, reducing oxidative stress through mechanisms independent of blood sugar. How to use it correctly? Steep a whole cinnamon stick in hot water for 8 to 10 minutes, or use freshly ground cinnamon, not powder that has been sitting in a jar for months. Around half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon daily is the effective range used in most clinical studies. For regular use, Ceylon cinnamon is preferred over cassia, as it contains far lower levels of coumarin. Morning or early afternoon intake with a small amount of fat maximizes absorption. Number 3, ginger. The research behind ginger in kidney health is more robust than most people realize, and it operates at a direct cellular level. A 2022 systematic review published in BMC Complementary Medicine and Therapies, examining 41 animal and preclinical studies on ginger and kidney health, found that ginger supplementation was consistently associated with reduced markers of oxidative stress in kidney tissue. 9 separate studies within that review showed significant reductions in melandialdehyde, a direct indicator of cellular oxidative damage, following ginger supplementation. A 2021 study published in the journal Pharmaceutics found that 6-gingerol specifically reduced kidney damage markers in a model of diabetic kidney disease by targeting both oxidative stress and inflammatory cytokines, including NF-κB, one of the primary regulators of the inflammatory response in kidney tissue. For older adults managing blood sugar, any degree of kidney function concern, or ongoing inflammatory conditions, these findings are directly relevant. How to use it correctly? Fresh ginger, grated or sliced, contains significantly higher concentrations of active gingerols than dried powder. Steep half a teaspoon of freshly grated ginger in hot water for 5 to 8 minutes. A squeeze of lemon juice increases antioxidant synergy, If your digestive system is sensitive, take it with a small amount of food rather than on a completely empty stomach. Number 2, coriander seeds. Coriander seeds, the dried seeds of the cilantro plant, may be the least familiar item on this list for many Americans, but the research on their kidney-specific effects is worth understanding directly. Each kidney contains approximately 1 million nephrons. When oxidative stress and inflammation accumulate inside these structures over years, filtration capacity declines silently, without symptoms, until a lab report reveals how much function has already been lost. Coriander seeds contain bioactive compounds including linalool and borneol that have demonstrated antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity in published research. Studies indexed in NIH databases and published in journals including Interdisciplinary Toxicology have shown that coriander seed extract can reduce markers of kidney oxidative damage and help maintain normal blood urea, nitrogen, and creatinine levels under conditions of kidney stress. How to use it correctly? Steep half a teaspoon of whole coriander seeds in hot water for 5 to 10 minutes, or freshly grind them onto salads, soups, or roasted vegetables. Pre-ground powder is significantly less potent. Pairing with a small amount of healthy fat and fresh lemon juice improves bioavailability. Morning to early afternoon is the most effective timing. Number 1, turmeric. If the published research points to one spice most consistently for kidney health in older adults, it is turmeric, specifically because of its primary active compound, curcumin. Here's what sets curcumin apart. Most antioxidants work in either water-based or fat-based environments inside the body. Curcumin works in both. This allows it to reach kidney tissue through multiple pathways and act on oxidative damage occurring in different cellular compartments simultaneously. A 2018 study published in Basic and Clinical Pharmacology and Toxicology, examining a model of chronic kidney disease, found that curcumin significantly reduced creatinine levels, reduced inflammatory cytokines including IL-1 beta, Illinois 6, and TNF-alpha, decreased oxidative stress markers in kidney tissue, and improved kidney tissue structure. A 2020 systematic review covering 12 randomized controlled trials involving 631 kidney disease patients, published in PLOS One, concluded that curcumin supplementation had favorable effects on inflammation and oxidative stress parameters in patients with chronic kidney conditions. The evidence is not preliminary, it is consistent and replicated across both animal studies and human clinical trials. The critical limitation is bioavailability. Standard curcumin is poorly absorbed on its own. A landmark study published in Plantamedica found that pairing curcumin with piperine, the active compound in black pepper, increases its bioavailability by up to 2,000%. Fat is also required, as curcumin is fat-soluble. How to use it correctly? Half a teaspoon of turmeric powder with a pinch of black pepper in warm water with a teaspoon of olive oil taken every morning. Without both black pepper and fat present at the same time, the curcumin passes through your system largely unabsorbed. Fresh turmeric root grated into warm liquid is equally effective. Consistency matters far more than dose. Here is something that needs to be said directly. These 6 compounds can genuinely support kidney health. The mechanisms are understood. The effects on oxidative stress and inflammation are documented in published peer-reviewed literature, but they cannot outwork a daily routine that continuously stresses your kidneys in the background. If you are consuming high amounts of sodium hidden in packaged and processed foods, and the average American consumes roughly 3,400 milligrams of sodium per day, well above the recommended 2,300, your kidneys are under constant pressure. No spice addresses that load. If you are regularly using over-the-counter NSAIDs, ibuprofen, naproxen for joint or back pain, these medications directly constrict the blood vessels feeding your kidneys. The FDA has carried clear warnings about kidney damage from regular NSAID use since 2005. No spice neutralizes that mechanism. If you are chronically underhydrated, and many older adults are, because the thirst signal weakens with age, your kidneys are filtering more concentrated waste through less fluid, increasing the chemical stress on nephron walls every hour of every day. The spices work best when the chronic stressors are reduced alongside them. That is not a caveat. That is the actual pathway to results. Here's what a practical kidney supportive routine looks like starting today. In the morning, begin with a full glass of water before anything else. Your kidneys have been concentrating urine for 7 to 8 hours. Rehydration is the first priority. Then take your turmeric, half a teaspoon in warm water with a pinch of black pepper and a teaspoon of olive oil. With breakfast, crush 1 to 2 cloves of garlic and let them rest for 5 minutes before adding to eggs, toast, or any cooked dish. Add cinnamon to your oatmeal or coffee. Through the day, use ginger in tea. Add freshly ground cumin or coriander seeds to lunch or dinner. Be more deliberate about sodium. Read labels on packaged foods. The sodium in a single serving of canned soup often exceeds 800 milligrams, more than a third of the daily limit before adding anything else. Take a 10-minute walk after your largest meal. Even brief post-meal movement helps regulate blood sugar spikes that follow food intake, and reducing those spikes consistently reduces the glycation burden on kidney tissue over time. Most people notice a reduction in ankle swelling within the first week once hydration improves and sodium intake is reduced. By weeks 2 to 3, reduced puffiness and improved morning energy are commonly reported. By weeks 4 to 6, measurable improvements in kidney function markers become possible when labs are next drawn. Your creatinine number is not a verdict. It is a measurement, and measurements respond to consistent choices. One important note: if you are living with diagnosed kidney disease, take blood thinners, manage diabetes with medication, or follow a medically restricted diet, speak with your physician before making significant dietary changes. Natural does not mean without interaction, and for people with significantly reduced kidney function, even certain helpful nutrients may need to be moderated. This information is designed to help you have better, more informed conversations with your healthcare provider. Drop a comment right now saying "protected." If something in this video answered a question you have been carrying or gave you a framework you did not have before, I want to see that word in the comments. Think of one specific person in your life, someone managing blood pressure, blood sugar, or unexplained fatigue, who has never had a real conversation about what may be quietly happening inside their kidneys. Send this video to them right now. That one action takes 10 seconds and could genuinely change how they approach the next decade of their health. Subscribe to this channel. What gets shared here is research-grounded, practically focused information that most people only encounter after something has already gone wrong. You deserve to have it before that point. In the next video, I am going to cover the silent warning signs that your kidneys are already under stress, the ones most people dismiss for years before a lab report finally confirms what their body was trying to say all along. You will not want to miss it. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as medical advice. Kidney health management must be individualized based on your complete medical history, current medications, and kidney function status. Never adjust or discontinue any medication without first consulting your healthcare provider. The information presented reflects published research findings and should not replace a thorough evaluation by a qualified medical professional.